Big news today, everyone. We finally got an update from CGC Video Games. It feels like we've been waiting forever, which honestly isn't that much of an embellishment at this point, considering it's been over 400 days since their first initial announcement. But all of that can be forgotten now because yesterday on Instagram Live, they dumped a ton of information on us. Thank you to every single Patreon who helps support the channel, as well as the YouTube members. I can't do it without you guys. Hit the like button and let's get into it. Let's just start off by showing every single console that CGC will be grading once they launch. This is both sealed and CIB. It will only be North American variants to start. I'm sorry to the Euro guys, I'm sorry to Japanese collectors. Hopefully they will expand to other regions shortly after launch. Now I'm not going to read all of these out to you guys, nor am I going to release a new video every single week telling you a new console they will be grading. But the ones that are most interesting to me on this list are PSP, Vita, and 3DS. These are three consoles that WATA still does not grade. And yes, VGA does offer those grading services, but VGA's minimum submission cost is still quite high and their turnaround times are still very slow. If we talk about 3DS specifically, I really think there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand there where CGC could get sent a flood of 3DS stuff immediately when they launch. Which, speaking of, when are they launching? We still do not have an exact date for that, but they did say they will start taking submissions at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. The dates for the expo are October 14th to 16th, so I have to assume the official launch is going to take place sometime in October. It seems like a pretty safe guess. Which, once they finally open up for submission, how much is it going to cost to submit with CGC? We still don't know that information either. That is the one big detail we're still all waiting for. I have to assume they're going to go for a very competitive price point to start, especially just to get some first submissions through the door. I would expect something in the $30 to $40 range for the economy submission. And they did emphasize a lot that they want to have amazing return times, so you can expect that CGC will not be holding your video games for over a year. They likely will not be holding them for over 6 months. The CGC trading card department does move very quickly, so I do assume they'll try to keep the video game department moving at that kind of speed. Which does bring us to the biggest piece of news they revealed at the live stream, the first look at the CGC Video Games case. Before I give any opinions on the case, I do just want to give you some features. The case itself is going to be tamper evident, of course. If any kind of cracks, tampering, someone tries to get into the case, it is going to be painfully obvious. They are also going to have a QR lookup code on the back of the case, which ensures that if you look up that code, the item that you are purchasing matches the item that is in their database. It's the kind of thing that WATA said was coming soon for about the past 3 years now, so it's really cool that CGC is going to have that up and running. The CGC cases will also have wells at the corners of their cases, which will protect super sharp corners on your crisp sealed games, your crisp mint CIB games. These little space additions at the corners ensure that the corners will not get smushed, damaged, anything when inserted into the holders. It's a really good idea and super important to ensure that the games stay in the exact same condition during the encapsulation process. Which, overall, when combined with a big blue label that some people are gonna like, some people are not gonna like, overall, my take on the cases are that they are fine. I'm not in love with the design. They did introduce a horizontal design for N64 and Super Nintendo games because obviously that just makes sense, but it also has this case design that makes it look like a blister pack. I don't know, it looks a little bit weird to me on first glance here. Maybe it will grow on me once I actually have it in my hands, but my preferred style of case, talking purely aesthetic still, is the VGA, N64, and Super Nintendo holder. The CGC case, in my opinion, does look a lot better on the modern style games, the DVD style games, but again, I'll reserve final judgment until I have one of the cases in my hand. I of course will use the CGC service no matter what. I have to try it out and see how they grade, which speaking of, they did also reveal the grading scale to us. And to no one's surprise, it is going to be very close to the WATA scale because the WATA scale is actually just the CGC scale. There is one massive difference though. On the CGC scale, they have introduced the 9.9 grade right underneath the 10 grade. So it goes 10, 9.9, 9.8, 9.6. If you're familiar with comics, then you're already familiar with the 9.9, but basically it adds a slightly more achievable level of impossible difficulty. I have to assume the 10 will still basically never be given out the exact same as WATA, but we might actually see some 9.9s differentiate themselves amongst the sea of 9.8. With the WATA grades right now, we have a ton of 9.8 with no 9.9s, especially if you look at something like PS1, right? Where there are literally no WATA 10s that exist yet. With this 9 9.9 grade existing on CGC, we might see a little bit of separation there. With that said, there's also no guarantee that a WATA 9.8 is going to perfectly translate to a CGC 9.8, and vice versa. It could be that the CGC 9.2 is like a WATA 9.4 and the WATA 9.4 is always a CGC 9.4. It's going to take a ton of time to see the crossover analysis between WATA and CGC. Hopefully, for all of our sakes, it is a very close crossover system, but there are no guarantees with that. With the seal ratings for CGC, they made what I think is a mistake and actually reduced the number of seal ratings compared to WATA. There will be A++, A+, B, and C. That's it. It's going to be a 5-point seal system with CGC. So as we saw in the WATA scale with the video I did, massive grade bunching is already taking place on the WATA scale where we have 7 separate seal ratings. On the CGC scale with 5 seal ratings, it should be the exact same issue we see with the WATA side. It might even be worse. Once again, with CGC, an A seal rating is not going to be that special. We're gonna have to see what the actual distribution is of A++, A+, A's, but as is, just looking at the decision to make a 5-point scale, I personally don't like that it minimizes the conditional nuance of the seal itself. If the box is gonna be graded on like a 15-point scale, I don't see why the seal should be reduced to a 5-point scale. Some people will disagree, some people will say the seal doesn't matter, we might as well minimize it, it's not that important, but for myself, it is very important. I think the seal should receive a more diverse rating system when it is being appraised. The last couple of things about CGC that they did announce is that, thank God, they will have a streamlined online submission process, so don't worry, it shouldn't be anywhere near as complicated as VGA. They also will not be offering heavy clean at launch, so please, learn how to remove your stickers, learn how to clean games. I have a video on my channel if you need help with it. The Discord is always open to helping people out. Link in the description of the video to join the Discord. Learn how to clean your games. It will greatly help you out in the long run. And that is it for now. As soon as we get an official launch date, an official price point, I will be back to update you guys. Let me know in the comments if you're going to use CGC. Let me know what you think of the case design, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!